to send out invitation for live events. She also reminds me to record. I feel you're like my mom. Okay, thank you so much, Lynn. Okay, first question. How many of you did the loving kindness meditation practice? Like, looked into it, see if it was something for you? Oh, you can't find the link to it. Okay. So if there's some of you who have the link, could you post it in the chat right now for Anne to see? Because I don't have time to find links right now when I'm doing live event. Okay, so Lynn, she did it and she loves it. Okay, that's awesome. Carol says, greetings to you, friends. I'm stuck in Istanbul. I don't know. I think today maybe I won't be able to talk. I don't know. My mouth doesn't seems to wants to do what I'm asking it to do today. Very dependent on good will of others and learning patience with a cast on my left leg for at least 3 weeks. What happened to you, Carol? Did you break your leg or something? I hope you're all right. Michael did the loving kindness meditation as well. Did you like it, Michael? How do you feel about it compared to just being in the 0 point, sitting still, nothingness, or whatever you do, whatever else you're doing when you meditate? Did you enjoy it compared to? Is this something for you, maybe? And Sane haven't done it yet. Looking forward to it. Okay. Yeah, so I'm very curious to see. So Anne, I'm guessing you didn't do it because you couldn't find a link to it. So just so you know, I do enjoy it very much, Michael says. Okay, good. Very good. Very good. I had a feeling some of you are gonna resonate with it. Wanda says, loving kindness meditation is something I do about 2 to 3 times per a week for many years. So Wanda, could you maybe, I don't know, do you want to go online here live with me and talk about what it has done for you and talk a little bit about it? Because if you've done it for many years, I'm very curious to hear. Or if not, maybe you could just write something in the chat about your experience with it, what you feel about it, your thoughts around it. Okay, so Wanda, could you write a little bit about your thoughts about the loving kindness meditation? How essential do you feel it is? How important you feel it is? Because that Buddhist tradition that I was talking about in last live event, they are making it into the number one thing they do. And where I know in other Buddhist traditions, it's kind of like something on the sideline. So I would love to hear your thoughts on it. So if you can write something, because I don't know if everybody knows, but Wanda has been a Buddhist meditator for many, I think for decades, as far as I know, and she's teaching meditation. So I'm very curious to hear what she's has to say about it. Okay, so while we wait for that, I can say that I only have one problem with my meditation practice, loving kindness meditation practice, and that is I check out. Like I can hold it for some time, like the focus and the feeling and loving kindness and like that. But then even that falls away, and I go into that 0 point nothingness, and I don't know if it's I guess I'm not supposed to do that, but that's happening, and I've done this for so many years now, so it's automatically just happening to me. So I don't know. I would love to actually hear what Wanda thinks about that as well. So, but it's very interesting. I'm enjoying very much to listening to this Delson Armstrong talking about the different genres, the layers and levels of awakening, and how that expresses itself, etc. I find it super interesting. Um, and also the guy has been measured by science and all that stuff, his brain waves and all these things. So we know he's not just pulling it out of his head. So Lynn says, my mind wanders a lot and this seems to keep me on track better. Yes. So I think that this is what I think, when people meditate, if they have a busy mind that wants to go places, usually they do it with a candlelight, hold it, or they do it with a mantra, or they're holding the tension, the focus of the mind on the breath, or like they're finding some anger. And what I found interesting with the loving kindness meditation is the anger, the anger for the mind is an expansive smile, beautiful, loving kindness, like compassionate state. And I think that is a very beautiful anger and focus for the mind to hold on to. So that's why I resonate a lot with it. Wanda says, I have been meditating for 40 years, teacher for 20. So she's definitely experienced. It is very important for me personally, not so much in Zen though. It helped me realize that we are really all one, that we all want to be happy and in peace. And it helped me tremendously to become patient. Yeah, I'm still waiting for that one. I'm not patient. So congratulations. Okay, yeah, but what do you think about the loving kindness meditation practice in itself as a practice? Do you feel it's very important, or is there other modalities of meditation you find more interesting or more important? Yeah, so when you meditate for 40 years and be teaching it for 20, that makes you, that it changes you as a person. That's for sure. It has been a huge transformation. I can guarantee you, I haven't met Wanda, but I can guarantee you it has been life-changing for her. I never met anyone who meditated that much who hasn't changed dramatically in their person, as a person. Meditation is, I mean, for me, meditation is the only universal sadhana that everybody can agree upon. The meditation we do here together is my number one. Also, and then metta, loving kindness, is number two. Okay. Wanda, I'm going to say something. Just tell me yes or no if you agree or disagree. Do you agree that the loving kindness meditation is extremely powerful and very good for people who have a busy mind who needs to calm it down? And that is why it's number two for you, because you don't have that problem anymore with a busy mind when you meditate, and because of that you go straight into the 0 point now. Yes? Yeah, okay. So I thought so. In the beginning, I was actually feeling very guilty about the fact that I didn't stay in that loving kindness. But for me, it felt like it was the stepping stone into where I want to go really, and which is complete nothingness and silence, the 0 point, whatever you want to call it. My students find loving kindness easier to calm their mind. Okay, so that makes it very clear to me the purpose of the loving kindness meditation. I would also say, and you can say yes or no if you agree or disagree, of all the ways to calm the mind, to focus, to make the mind a one-track mind, like candlelights, mantras, and all that stuff, or watching the breath, of all the different tools, techniques to do that. Loving kindness is the one that makes the most sense to me. Do you agree? Yes or no? Yes. Yeah. Okay, so you've been practicing meditation for 40 years, and for 20 years you've been teaching it, and this is yeah, breath is also very powerful. Yeah. Okay. So from what I understand from the teachings, the Buddhist teachings in that tradition that I was listening to, the breath they say, or this teacher, he said, okay, he said the breath is just a focus point, but it's kind of empty. There's nothing there in the sense of you're not, there's no, it doesn't bring some, anything else but just the calm, like 0 points thing. But if you focus on the loving kindness, you're already creating this relaxed, expansive state, because the love and kindness makes you automatically. So there's a little more juice to it. There's more. That's also why, for example, when they do mantras, they use specific sacred words, because not only is it holding your mind, but it's also adding a sacred vibration, deeper meaning to things. And so people don't sit and chant sandwich, 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 but they're chanting Ram, Ram, because there's a difference between chanting these two words. And so there's a different quality to it. So I feel that when you do the focus as a loving kindness, you're already, in a way, you're bypassing the journey towards enlightenment, and you actually start acting like you're already awake and aware in that moment by focusing on loving kindness, because loving kindness is your natural state. So by consciously trying to bring it in, focusing on it, you're already kind of inviting your natural state to arise within you in that silence. And I would say that that's why I resonate with it more than anything else I've seen out there. Looking at a candlelight, great, it's awesome for focusing and all that stuff, but you don't find loving kindness inside the candlelight. But it's great to stop the mind. But still, taking it a step further, loving kindness is this Buddha nature, right? And so you want to focus on the Buddha nature. And so you become the Buddha by being in a state of loving kindness. And I think this is the point. That is why the loving kindness meditation is so powerful. So anyone who is having any problems with their minds, with the relaxing the mind, with the calming the mind, and also putting the mind into its original, actual, natural state through meditation, instead of just talking about the end result, meaning the 0 point, the nothingness, the void, the total full emptiness, the emptiness that is so full. That is easy to talk about, but a lot of people can't get there just directly. They can't just go there. They have a whole mountain of mental obstacles in their way. And so I think by imitating the Buddha nature, by inviting people mentally to focus on the loving kindness, it's going to give them a sign showing that this is actually where we're going. This is the original state. So you're imposing it upon yourself. You're consciously, mentally producing the loving kindness state. But at one point it starts sliding deeper in, and you realize it starts merging, and then it comes from inside and out and outside and in at the same time, and it penetrates and infuses everything in your being. And I think that is why it's so interesting. That is why normally I don't listen to meditation teachers um, online. Uh, excuse me, Wanda, but I don't even listen to my own guru's guided meditations anymore. I didn't do that for many years. It took me for 1 year I was listening to it, but after 1 year I couldn't listen to it anymore because I don't like when people are talking throughout meditations, and I just want to be still. And so I'm not listening to anybody when it comes to meditation anymore, because I just go to this emptiness, and that's it, and there's nothing more. Okay. One Wanda says, once a week I gave loving kindness meditation to cancer patients, and it helped them tremendously also to deal with their fear and anxiety. So I am actually curious. I think people can cure their cancer with loving kindness. I actually believe that to be true. I did a loving kindness meditation yesterday with my wife because there was this solar eclipse, and so we were just sitting for 25 minutes, and deliberately I was sending lots of loving kindness to my body because it needed it, and then to all beings and the universe, everything. But in the beginning, the first 10 minutes I did like for my body, and I could feel my whole nervous system reacting to it. And it's beautiful. And I remember thinking yesterday, if people who are sick, like really sick, and they do this every day, like several times a day, I suspect it would cure their disease. It's just uh, a thought I had. Who knows? But I suspect it could. Uh, I will read your message, Lynn, in a moment. Wanda said, I cured myself from metastatic breast cancer through meditation, especially the loving kindness meditation, the way Joe Dispenza formulates it. So there we go. There we go. Wow. Yeah. So everybody pay attention to this. I mean, you're hearing this from someone who's been meditating for 40 years, right? So if she can do it, you can do it. It's that simple. Lynn is saying, loving kindness is a place I feel I can go at any time during the day with or without a formal sitting. I also like to go to gratitude and appreciation. So that brings up, I'm doing this myself, Lynn, and I like the fact that you're doing that. So I'm actually recently I heard something from Joe Dispenza uh, 3 weeks ago or something like that, where he said something that totally triggered something in me. He said, you have to wake the spirit up within you. So imagine this for a second. You're just this dream body character, this avatar being remote controlled by a higher self, right? That is just, its spirit is watching life through your eyes. And here you are running around thinking you're real, but actually you're not real. You're just a self-created idea of streams of thoughts. So, but here you are, the me, myself, and I, the sense of self running around. But in this process, if you're living a very boring life, repetitive, and no curiosity, no joy, no excitement and juiciness about life, and you just do the same thing every day. And remember Joe Dispenza, he said 90% of all your thoughts every single day is repetition from the day before. And my guess is the remaining 10% are very predictable thoughts still, and nothing out of the ordinary. I think real, true, independent, genius thoughts and actions are a rare commodity in this world with many humans. So I don't know if you can imagine, but if spirit is sitting here watching this television show called you, at one point it's going to doze off. It's going to be bored with what you're doing because it's just repetition. It's like, so what's on TV today? Oh, it's the same. Whatever. And so spirit, and I don't believe this to be actually true, but in a sense, there is truth to it. So spirit kind of dozes off. Their aliveness disappears. And so you, the dream character, have to put some effort into waking up the spirit in you. In India, there is an old tradition in the homes of people who are believing in God that every morning they start ringing some bells and chanting some mantras, and they do the arati in front of some altar that shows Shiva or something. And they're doing this to wake up God. They're waking God up. It's not like God is asleep, but God within them is asleep. And so they're waking God up with a ritual, with a ceremony to symbolize that they're waking the divine up within themselves. I'm not saying that that's what you need to do. I'm just saying, I think we need to be mindful about how we choose to live our lives. Are we in the present moment? Are we stepping out of this automatic system that we are running all day long, every day, nonstop? The repetitions. Are you breaking the programs? And so you need to wake the spirit up. And I think meditation is a way to sit down and say, well, the dream character turns around, looks back and says, hi. Are we going to hang out together or what? And so, it's not really what's happening, but it's a way you can think about it. You're turning around, you're saying to a spirit like, hey, what's up? And then instead of talking nonstop, you're listening. You're like, let me hear what you have to say today. And you're listening. And you're just being present with that. And then you take that presence with you into the world, because now spirit is paying attention. It's like, wait a minute. She's actually paying attention. Okay, well, then I'm going to interact a little and be present more in this life. So you're waking the spirit up. And so I think we need to think about, how do we choose to live our lives? Are we waking up spirit in ourselves, in others, etc.? Right. So that's a thought that I was having, and I think I also had a bigger point around that, but now I lost it because my mind goes blank now. Because when I talk about meditation, everything stops, and so I forget what it was that I wanted to say. I'm sorry about that. I'm losing my plot. Oh man, it's hilarious. Carol says, I agree, guided meditation is good to listen to, but the real meditation comes after that. Yes. Well, I'm so happy you guys is there anybody, I think you guys are really resonating with how we meditate after the live events, right? You guys are enjoying that, right? I talk a little bit in the beginning just to remind you, yeah, okay, you're expansive. There's no boundaries to you, and the body is just, and the body's inside of you, but not. And just to remind you, and then after that, I stop talking because you already got it, and then you're just falling in, right? And that's it, right? Yeah, you guys are enjoying that. Yes. Yeah, I don't know if I think Wanda, as a meditation teacher, would say that a lot of people who comes to her, they can't just do that. They need more of that stuff, the focus and the tools to pull it to quiet up the mind and all stuff. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So this is actually an advanced meditation practice we're having going on here in Dharma Portal. And I didn't even know that until I started actually checking these things out. So I'm very happy about that. Doesn't always work that soon. Yeah. So how many of you are still having a busy mind when we meditate together? Um, how long time will you, let's say we meditate for 20 minutes. Do you have at least 5 or 10 minutes at the end where you're totally quiet, or are you still having problems with the mind, like talking and distracting and flying around? Saying is saying, in Qigong, there is an infinite congenital energy that lies dormant. Meditation is a way to activate this energy. Yeah. For me, Qigong is meditation in motion. And it's tapping into the universal 0 point energy, basically, which is why it's so profound. And I'm doing the same in martial arts. However, I'm telling you, most of my students, I have 2 students that can tap into what I'm talking about once in a while doing the training. Like they have moments. The rest they cannot. And because the karate that I teach is you're distracted with the technique, balance, breath, your cardio, an opponent that wants to do something and you try to block that and all that stuff, right? And so it's a very confronting process, much more. I mean, it's not that Qigong will allow you to be with yourself, to move more in peace and not being distracted, where karate will distract you, big deal distraction. But for me, when we talk about true meditation begins when you open your eyes and go into the world, because it's easy to be in 0 point state in total peace and quiet, right? But good luck doing that when you are having to pay the bills and have an argument with your spouse or something, right? So I feel karate is a very good representation of what life is all about. There's always friction. There's egos around you that wants things and say things and do things. There's agendas and hidden agendas, and you can get sucked in and all that stuff. And this is life. And so I take great pride in trying to teach my students how to do dynamic karate and staying in that 0 point state while you do it. Now, I can do that because I trained since I was 9 years old, but my students, they are now having the experiences I had many, many decades ago, which is, it's like, boom, and then suddenly total peace, and your body is still active, and you're kicking and blocking, and there was no one there doing that. And it was pure spirits, action reaction to environment, and there was no agendas, no nothing. There was no winning, losing, there was nothing. It was like a moment of a non-dual. You could actually say that 2 people fighting each other in a total non-dual consciousness. So on the outside looks like the conflict is there. On the inside, there's no conflict, but it's just pure expression of what is. And so my students are having flashes of that now. That's two of them are having. It happens for them. And so for me, that's an achievement, because when you can go into these total non-dual states in a very dualistic situation, that's when the rubber meets the road. That's when things become really interesting, because we can all sit down and and become this non-dual meditator, right? But in a dynamic situation, it is a whole different animal, and it's really awesome. It's awesome when it starts happening. I highly recommend it. Oh. So you guys are answering my question I asked before about, do you still have a busy mind, or do you have peace for maybe 5 or 10 minutes of the meditation? And Carol says sometimes yes. Lynn says sometimes, depends on what are going on in my life. Off and on. Anne says on and off depending on the day. Sorry, I need to leave. See you next week. See you, Lynn. But anyway, so the food you eat also creates thoughts. The EMF radiation will create stress in the body, which creates thoughts and stress and all that stuff. So your environment matters a lot, and I think it's you have to kind of approach this from two sides. One side is create a very sacred space, darken your room, lock the door, turn off your phone, hydrate, feel good in the body rested, relaxed, and aware. Sit down, and then go into that state, the 0 point state, and stay in that, and just be. Just be. Don't do. Stop doing. Just being, and that's it. And I think so. You create the right environment for that, and you access this way. But you have to learn to access through life, through all the distractions and all these obstacles that wants to hit us in life. We have to learn to navigate and enter this space regardless. And I find that to be that is so beautiful once it happens. If you ask me, a light warrior is one who can do that. So a spiritual person is one who can sit down and meditate and go into the 0 point. A light warrior is someone who can do it in the middle of life. That's how I see it. So Saint says, thoughts still not fully stabilized, but it gets better with practice. Yeah. So what do you mean with stabilizing thoughts? I would love to know what you mean. Thoughts still not fully stabilized. Or you mean stabilized so they kind of fall away? Yeah, I guess that's what you meant. I hope that's what you meant. The lists keep pushing in. Things you need to think about or want to do or something like that. Yeah. Okay, I get it. Yeah. I remember yesterday when I was doing the solar eclipse. So for example, I give you an example. I was meditating with my wife, and I usually don't do that. We always meditate alone. So that was a new experience for me. And I could feel her mind. And so then I had to disconnect from that. And then it was like, I went into the 0 point, but then suddenly it's like, boop, wait a minute, it's a solar eclipse. Maybe you should focus on that. Maybe you need to meditate on the solar eclipse. Or like I had thoughts coming in, like thinking, well, this meditation is different because blah, blah, blah. And so, or maybe you should do the loving kindness because blah, 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 right? So I was kind of like confusing myself with the thoughts. And so I did the loving kindness for like 10 minutes and 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. And then I went into the 0 point, but then the thoughts came up, oh, maybe you shouldn't do that because it's a solar eclipse. So just sitting there in the nobody state is not as effective as if I was staying in the loving kindness, because maybe you're manifesting more and more powerfully on those days in solar eclipse than any other days. So I remember having these thoughts coming up, like, and I was like getting confused. So that was yesterday. I normally don't confuse myself this much that I did yesterday. So that was really interesting. So is this the kind of stuff you have coming up? I can imagine. So I'm thinking, oh yes, okay, so that's the, yeah, okay, so you guys can resonate with that. Yeah, yeah, okay. Yes, okay. So what I really what I really think is beautiful about qigong is you can take, you're standing up, or you could, I guess you could sit down as well, but let's just say you stand up and you do a very simple movement that doesn't take skills to learn. It's very simple. And but you're asked to do it fully conscious. And so that is for me a standing meditation or a moving meditation. And that is what I love about Qigong. That's what I love about it. That's also last time or before that, I don't remember, why I asked you to try to drink from a cup fully conscious. And so, and when I say fully conscious, it's not, there's two ways to do it. Let me try to explain it. Okay. Okay. I don't know if I can demonstrate this, but I'll try. And I hope I'm not getting into deep water here. One way of trying to fully consciously drink from a cup could be done like this. I feel the cup, I feel the tea, I see the cup, I think of nothing but the cup, and then I think only about my arm lifting up, how I grab the cup, how does the cup feel in my hand, the ceramic, how heavy the cup is, right? How I choose to move my thumb to the cup side to make sure it doesn't slide away when I start tilting it. How does the cup feel to my mouth? The taste of the tea, everything, including the feeling when it enters my body, all that stuff. Okay, so that is a very conscious way of doing it. But there is, for me, and I don't know if I'm gonna destroy this, but there's for me, the next level above that is to first you drop the cup, you drop the sense of self, you drop the one who wants a drink from the cup. There's no desire, there's no person who is drinking the cup, there's nobody here, there's nothing happening. Everything is life, and life happens all by itself. Like if you didn't exist right now, this very moment, everything else in this world would continue as always, by itself. It's effortless. And so there is this place where I disappear and there's no one here, and everything is expressing and unfolding itself naturally, spontaneously, without intention. There's no one here trying to intend anything. It's just happening by itself. And in that process, the decision could be made to drink from the cup. And the cup drinks itself, or the cup is being drunk by itself, as itself. It's happening without an identity attached to it. There's no story. It's not even a cup. There's not a person drinking it. There is no cup. There is no tea. There's nothing. It's just all an unfoldment of experiences. And the only thing there is the experience itself. There is no experience. There's no experience. So if we take these two demonstrations of how to drink from a cup, I feel we can talk about it in the same way we just spoke about meditation. The loving kindness meditation is to have full focus and attention upon the Buddha mind, the mind of compassion, the expansiveness, the loving kindness. It's the flow of that loving kindness, and the mind is fully occupied into this experience. Or we move into another layer of meditation where everything drops and falls away. Everything falls away. And yet the meditation is still happening. Now there's just nobody there feeling loving kindness. There's nobody there trying to do anything, manipulate anything. Everything just is as it is. And yet is a meditation is obviously happening, but it's happening by itself as a direct experience, but with no experiencer. So that's why you will see movements are happening more as a spontaneous expression instead of a focused mental exercise. Does that make sense in any way? So Wanda says, the way you demonstrate this drinking of tea is the way we are drinking the tea in the Zendo. Well, that's at least the way the experience should be. Okay, well, so I'm so happy to hear. That means there's a lot of Zen Buddhists out there that are agreeing with what I'm saying. That's good. That's good to know. Because this is my experience. I will invite you. So do you have spiritual friends where you can sit and really geek out on consciousness and have a good deep conversation with them? If you have a friend like that, sit down with them. It could even be on Skype or Telegram or Zoom call or something. And try to just sit, and then in the beginning, just be very, talk very slow, talk only from present moment direct experience, and try with your words to describe the experience in this present moment as the experience itself, without an experiencer. And ping pong back and forward with each other in this conversation. Keep eye contact. That can in some cases help. If not, it's not a big deal, but in some cases it's very good to keep the eye contact, and then just explore and see how the words will unfold themselves in the present moment, and you experience that expansiveness, and you start seeing the blurring, the borderline, the separation starts disappearing. Your borders are dissolving, and the mind stops working, and you will see the conversation will continue regardless of the mind, and you start having a realization that you can be completely without mind and still have a conversation. So if the mind is not involved with the conversation, who is talking? The talking continues. You can do this with a friend if they understand this, if they are at this place where they can start doing these things. And you will see you can have an entire conversation for long periods of time without having one single thought arising in your mind. This is exactly the same thing I'm asking my students in karate to do. They have to perform the karate with their opponent. There is a conflict, friction. One wants to hit the other one wants to hit the other, and we need to block and all that stuff. But the conflict is only on the surface. Underneath, you start seeing there is no conflict. There is only pure expression of consciousness, and it can move without your involvement. Consciousness knows karate, just like it knows qigong. So you can do this, and I invite you. This is really what I would love to see more people practice as much as possible, is the meditation in action, to be able to communicate without thinking, to be able to do martial arts, qigong, without thinking. And meditation is the beginning. You learn to sit down, not think, not being in the head, to drop out, disappear, and all stuff. But once you start having the ability to do this, which I know all of you have, the invitation is for you to bring it out into life. So find a good partner, someone you can talk to on this level, and then just explore and see how long and how far can we take this to be able to express with no agenda, with no involvement. And you may have to, in the beginning, you have to slow down the words, because you have to consciously focus on the silence that is in between the words. It's very important. In the beginning, you have to focus on that. So what you say is less important, but what is happening underneath is more important. So you're meditating together while you're talking. So there's the constant focus on the silence, yet you create activity. You allow, it's not creation in the sense of there's somebody there creating it, because you have already disappeared to the silence, but you invite activity to be allowed to happen as well. And so it's happening. There's talks, we're saying things, but the focus is all the time on the silence. And then at one point, you should realize it's not silence that's in between the words. Silence is also inside the words. In fact, the words come from silence. It's all silence. You can't say anything. Nothing was said, nothing was heard. So there has to be that direct experience of it in the conversation of a no self. And yet you can bring activity into this world. But now what seems like dualism is actually non-dual in action. This is why the enlightened beings do not create karma. Because there was no one there to create the karma. Karma is identity, accumulation of actions done from a perceived identity. Cause and effect still happens. I was told the Buddha, he ate some food and he choked on it and he got food poisoned and he died or something like that. Cause and effect. Jesus were upsetting a few people. So he got crucified. Cause and effect. I don't know why I think this is funny, but it is. Cause and effect still happens. And by the way, God has a very wicked sense of humor. So nothing is happening. Nobody said anything. You're not doing anything. You're not doing anything. You haven't done anything. Nothing is happening. Feel the silence behind all of this all the time. That is your invitation. Feel that the source where everything springs up, all these, just like waves on the ocean. But in the end, there's only one ocean. And it's quiet and still. And it brings all this up to the surface. I can see why some people choose to just remain silent. Because I don't know how to talk about these things. It's a very it's an impossible thing to talk about. Yeah, so it's very interesting to see when people are looking for it, right? Chasing it. Getting lost in the activity of seeking. Oh my God, spirituality is one big joke. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's beautiful. Zane is saying it's like the space silence between the notes and music. It is what creates the music. Yes, absolutely. When you take a vase, so you have this shell, but what makes the vase valuable is because of its empty space inside. If it didn't have the capacity to hold water, it would be worthless. It's all the emptiness, the void that creates the wealth of life. And the funny thing is, we have scientists who are sitting looking at quantum quarks, the atoms, the electrons, the neutrons, and then they go in and find smaller molecules, smaller substances, and then they find smaller ones and even smaller ones, and then they realize it's not really a thing, it's just energy. And they don't know if it's a wave or what is it called? A particle or a wave or light or a wave or whatever. They can't figure out what it is. And then they find out that just by watching it, it changes. It changes its complete nature just by us watching it. And so science are freaking even more out. So they're like, what is going on here? What is this universe made of? What is it made of? And it seems that when I'm looking at it, I'm influencing it, I'm changing it. How big is the universe? Well, the more I look, the more I'm realizing it's expanding. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I look further and further and further, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's endless. It has no barriers, no boundaries. If I look double the length tomorrow than I did today, I'm gonna find it's expanding even more. What is this universe? Is this real? Is this universe actually here? Or am I, and when I say I mean the big I, making it all up? And that is why when I sit with a microscope trying to figure out what's going on, the only thing I see is pure energy. And this energy sprang from what? From the silence, from the void. This is the Shiva Shakti. Things come out of nothing. From nothing, something. But that something is nothing. Just like the dream you had last night. So what's the difference between this universe and the dream you had last night? There's no difference because both of them are totally made up. It's pure imagination. Imagination. We are a nation full of magicians. With our imagination, we are making it all up. You are the creator, and by tuning into the silence, you are merging back into the source of all things. The living silence that is empty and full at the same time. Completely intelligent and completely unconscious at the same time. Everything springs into existence from there. We don't do anything. We don't create anything. We have done absolutely nothing. It's all coming from that. There's no person here creating anything. There's no enlightened people on this planet. Because there's no people in the first place. There's no such thing as a personal enlightenment. Doesn't exist. It's a joke, and we are it. So that's the beauty of meditation, is the direct path to go in and say hi to this silence, and then you realize what's looking back at you is yourself. And then there is no two. And that silence becomes you, and then suddenly the you in you is gone because you see the truth, and the truth is that you are it. And there's nothing else. There is nothing else. So with that, sit down with your friend and have a conscious conversation in the moment, in the present moment. No hidden agendas, no nothing, no mind, complete void. See what wants to happen. Not even wants to, because there's no want. Just see what happens. Just watch, see, let it come, express, say, maybe don't say. Always in the moment, not yesterday, not tomorrow. And the beginning of the conversation is always about just sitting still, feel the silence, see the bubbles coming up. And let it get a voice. Give it a voice. Because the thing is, if you can learn to speak from no mind, you can walk with no mind. You can do Qigong with no mind. You can do karate with no mind. Then suddenly you can wash the dishes, no mind. And when you get really advanced, you can pay your taxes. You can answer an email. You can repair your car. You can talk to a person who does not share the same connection to the silence, but you still stay in no mind. You can do even more and more. You start realizing that there's certain situations in life that are more difficult to remain in that, like the total recognition of the silence at all times. It depends on you how deep it rests within you. But in the beginning, just like the meditation practice, at one point you can get there without tools, you just boom, nothingness, right? But then the next step from that is to, in the martial arts and the yoga practice, or with a friend, like a super good friend, where you can and then you practice with the friend. You just like learn how to do that, right? And then the challenge is coming where you start doing it out in there in the unconscious world, where you just remain in the knowledge. Like there's always that silence. You see everything coming up from there. And so when you see somebody else there who's not having that recognition, and you remain having that conversation, you'll be surprised it's possible. So like the stream of consciousness, yes, so everything is consciousness. If you go into the world and you see that the bubbles, the waves in the ocean are extremely unconscious, everybody believes they are real, right? You walk out the door, everybody's serious because they think they're real. But if you remain in the awareness, you will realize that the world is really funny. It's hilarious. You're gonna start having a lot of fun. God made one big stand-up show called Planet Earth, stand-up comedy show, and there's a lot of players that are playing this game really, really serious. Your job is to have fun, and so in that sense, loving kindness meditation is awesome. Try to practice the loving kindness meditation and just feel that, but then know where it's coming from. It's coming from that the source, the silence, and there's no one here. Keep on reminding yourself that every time you fall in, take yourself out. You fall in, you check out. Oh, I did it again. And every time you realize you're doing it again, start laughing at yourself. Laughter is pure medicine. It's spiritual manna from heaven. You laugh at yourself, no judgments. Just laugh at yourself. Oh my God, I did it again. Hilarious. How could I not see? Anyway, I see now. That's hilarious. That's funny. Oh my God, it's funny. I'm doing it again. Oh, I'm doing it again. Oh my God, this is hilarious. I'm doing it again. Well, I forgot. Oh my God, I forgot. That's hilarious. Anyways. Anyways. I hope you guys are having fun. I hope you're enjoying this. Should we take a break and do a meditation? You guys are loving it. Okay, that's good. See, this live event hopefully was, I've been talking for more than 1 hour now. Imagine if this was just one long meditation. So we already did the meditation. We don't even need to do the meditation because we already did it. We're doing it. It's happening right now. This is the meditation. The meditation is to see there's nothing happening. I didn't say anything. You didn't hear anything. There's no one here talking. There's no one here listening. It's such a profound realization. Do you sense the freedom? Can you feel the freedom in that? Like the freedom. Yeah. Okay, so let's do a meditation in 20 minutes. Yeah, very exciting for me and relaxing at the same time, beyond words. Awesome. It's almost like home, isn't it, Anne? Where you came from? Yes. Because you actually never left home. You did not leave home. You always been home. This is home. You are home right now. Yeah. Okay, so I could just sit here for hours like this, but let's take a break and then we meet for meditation. I really hope you guys will join me for meditation, and because that's the easy one. This is the easy practice of directly experience what I'm talking about. It's just bam, sitting there in it and become quiet. Everything falls away, and there it is. Everything falls away, and there it is. This thing that is nothing. And we're going to practice that in 20 minutes from now. So we are going to sit and remove the meditator. There will be no one meditating. The meditator is gone. Only being happens, which we call meditation, but that's just a word, a label. But it's just to sit and be, and nothing else. So I see you in 20 minutes. I hope you guys will stay and be there. Okay, see you. Bye-bye. Oh, sending loving kindness to Carol for a good outcome with your situation. Yeah, I never got an answer, Carol. Are you okay? I never, you fell and broke your leg or something? Okay. Okay, well, anyway, I'm gonna send some good energy for you to heal. I hope we all will do. Okay, see you in 20 minutes. Okay, so are we ready for a meditation? Fell and left ankle badly sprained. Okay, well, when we start the meditation, um, let's just, well, before we start the meditation, I don't want to do it in the meditation, but before we start the meditation, let's just send some loving, healing energy for Carol and her left ankle. Okay? Let's just send some energy right now for her ankle. Okay. Namaste. So let's get ready for the meditation. I'm gonna turn on the timer. Spine straight. Just focus on relaxing the body first. Go through the muscles, the tense areas, and just breathe through it. If you feel any tension in the mind, like a knot, just try to relax it, expand it, relax. It's all about letting go. You have a body. The body is inside of you, like the wick of a candle. Just let the body be. It's gonna be okay without your interference in any way. It will take care of itself. With every sound, sensation, Feel the silence behind it all, penetrating everything. And stay in the meditation, but slowly open your eyes. How are we doing? Good. Profoundly amazing. Good. Best meditation ever. Good. That's how to do it, folks. To not do it. Okay. So yeah, try to see if you can find a friend to have conscious communication with, like that. It's just a suggestion. Okay, I see you next week. Namaste. Love you all. Thank you for showing up. Have a great week too.